Hello guys, my name is Harris, a lecturer at the University of Zululand in South Africa. Today I want to discuss or give you insights about organic growth as a strategy that is used by businesses in order to grow their market share, in order for them to dominate in different markets, or for them to be able to grow naturally over time. Because as you know, in business, you use different strategies for you to be able to achieve your desired goals. Could be your goal to achieve high profitability. Could be your goal to um, you know increase your market share. Could be your goal to increase your value in the market. Could be your strategy to want to achieve anything, because different businesses of different sizes, they've got different objectives and they've got different goals. But in this case we are looking at strategies to grow businesses, either in the form of increase in terms of market share, or in terms of just growing a business in terms of its capital and its assets. So there are two main broad categories of strategies that businesses use for them to grow. Firstly, as you can see on your screen, it's organic growth, which means growth through using internal resources, or using internal strategies that are within the confines of the business itself. Um, and secondly, it could be growing through acquiring other entities that are either below the value chain or up the value chain, or within the um, same market or industry the entity will be operating from. And you can also be able to use another strategy of using mergers, which means you bring together different entities together, grow, use capacities of those two entities coming from different aspects to make one entity, which can then become stronger in terms of skills, become in terms of capital, in terms of different types of elements that can enable a business to be able to grow. So let's look at this slide, where I'm looking at those two broad categories in terms of growing using organic measures, or growing through using the M&A process. Which are these two main strategies that are used by entities, and these are mainly used to expand the market share and also to increase the market share. But the adoption of each of these two differ from your approach in business, also differ in terms of what are your desired goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, 10 years? Do you have enough resources to be able to achieve what you want to achieve without acquiring another entity for you to be able to get that assistance? So let's look at what organic growth is. So this refers to the growth of an entity by using internal means, or by using its own means, in the way of either increasing its own output. So, for example, if you're a bread maker, you were producing a thousand loaves of bread, and you want to move from producing 1,000 loaves to producing uh, 1,500 loaves, for example. So you're looking at your cost. How best can you minimize your cost for you to be able to increase your output? Where can you get cheaper inputs for you to be able to produce cheaper and increase your output? Where can you get more productivity in terms of can you leverage on technology for you to be able to produce more than you're doing right now? Can you increase your sales in the market so that you can be able to dominate in terms of market share? Can you introduce new products for you to be able to dominate in the market and increase your market share? So all these things are things that you can control as an entity, are things that don't need an outsider for you to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So you're simply looking at your skills, looking at your capabilities, and looking at things that you can control as a business to be able to influence the market. So, like, if you look at point number two, I've explained point number two to say that these are internal efforts, things that you can control. Um, but the consequence of using internal means and already available resources is that it can be a bit slower, but it is very sustainable, because sometimes growing too fast can have its own consequence. because if you grow through acquiring other entities, sometimes you may grow too fast, and then you can have liquidity issues. You can make a blunder in terms of strategy, and that can have serious consequences in terms of your business. But the advantage of it is that you focus on the current existing resources of the business, and focusing on your current capabilities. So I think I've also explained the third slide in terms of what are the characteristics of organic growth. So firstly you are focusing on it internally. So you growing through increasing your own productivity, growing through optimizing your current operations. Are there any ways you can cut costs? Are there any ways you can increase output while it's using less resources? Can you come up with new strategies to penetrate the market? Are there any opportunities for you to be able to produce new products? So this can happen through just improving your current product, or that can also happen through introducing new product as well. Also another, but I think I've spoken about this as well, that it can take a long time for you to be able to achieve your desired goals, because we are only leveraging on internal resources and the existing resources. But the benefit of it is that it's a less risk strategy, because you are simply looking at your current potential and leveraging your current potential, and there's no that potential consequence of growing too fast, which can cost you a lot of resources, and sometimes it can even lead to carbon closures. But also, lastly, I think I've spoken to the issue that it is a sustainable strategy, because you are simply relying on your current strength, and you are also looking at what is actually possible within your current confines. And that's very so I think this is a more realistic and more patience, and if you grow over time, you may get to be experts of the market or the industry that you're working on, and if you leverage on those, that can actually make you to be able to succeed, even more than those that would have grown through the M&A process. What are examples of organic growth strategies that can be implemented by businesses? So you can expand your product lines. For example, you can take advantage of the entire value chain. So, for example, if we carry that bread making example. So for example, you can have a farm that produces wheat, and you can have a milling company that is responsible for producing your flour, and you can have the bakery itself, which means you are making the bread. And next, you can also have a company that distributes the bread for you. So you are in control of the entire value chain, and the advantage of that is that you can be able to save costs over time, and that can then be able to make you have more financial reserves that you can use to be able to expand your business. And secondly, you can actually increase your marketing strategies, so you can then be able to capture a large market share by having as many customers in the market relying on you in terms of whatever they need. You can also be able to invest in technology, so that you can be able to improve your productivity and your efficiency. And all of us, we know the advantage of using technology in business. In this era of AI, you can then be able to achieve a lot of productivity using technology in your operation. That can save you costs, and when you save costs, you can then be able to build reserves, and with those reserves in terms of cash, finance, capital, you can then be able to expand your business through entering new markets, through acquiring new machinery, acquiring new capacity to be able to produce more resources. And lastly, you can actually expand into new geographical markets. For example, you can be producing in South Africa, and you can move into Mozambique, into Malawi, into Zambia, into Ethiopia, up until in Egypt, and also even outside the confines of the African continent, and that is organic growth. So you are just growing using your internal resources and your internal capacities. So I hope this has helped someone else. And, I know this concept is important for people who are doing different levels of education. But I'll do another video on growth using M&A processes. Thank you very much. Cheers.